Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. There we go. So, I wanted to detail some of my experiences of recent times. Just as I always look this way, I don't know why. There's a window there. It's just, yeah, anyway, just in case you're wondering. Yeah, just the world that we live in. Because, a lot of people, they ask, why, why would why would people lie? Why would governments lie? Why would space agencies lie? Why would scientists, doctors, why would they all lie? You know, Obviously completely disavoid or avoid of the very natural thing that we know that every human fucker lies. Sorry for the French. Um, we all lie, even those who claim to be the most honest of us. Even if it's the smallest thing of like, pretending to be out when, because you don't want to answer the door or something like that. Even those small little things. At your day to day job, you lie on behalf of a multi-million-dollar company, you know? The thing is, like, recently we've got a house, a mortgage. So we managed to get through all that in the end. And, with the help of my dad. If it wasn't for my dad, there's no way I would be able to get, I would still be renting and still be, and as I expected, the mortgage is cheaper than the rent. So I don't know why the government doesn't help, because it doesn't help when it comes to that. It only helps with renting. So they want to perpetually keep you in that position. There's another lie that they pretend that they for your well-being. But so we've been doing this, like trying to renovate little bits of it up with the smaller little bit of money that we have, just to try and make it a little bit better. And so we've had to go through builders and stuff like that. And oh my goodness, this is the thing, that individual liars, the way that they come up with their quotes, they come up with, thousands of pounds and thousands for their quotes, just for their labour. This is not including materials, just for their labour. And when you work it out, they're getting like 100, 200 pounds an hour. No one gets that kind of money. What I mean, I know it is a specific trade, and yes, it's very taxing. It's very, it's not easy, and I know that. And the thing is, like with all these different trades and all these jobs, having different values on them. Whereas really, it should be you're just going out and this is the value. But then I guess, whatever. That's nothing to do with me. That's the old system that I have nothing to do with. But the fact that they lie to you and they will mark up things and say, hey, we get discount. They get like 55% discount, but they only give you the 10% discount. So they're charging you for the things that you're buying when it's materials. And the fact that they will come up with this huge number, are you telling me that they get paid more than politicians and scientists for just breaking down a wall or inserting a kitchen or something like that? Come on, let's be honest. I mean, that's what I mean. That's lies is part of the fabric of being human, especially in this day and age, and I'm sure in previous day and ages as well. So when people say, well, why wouldn't they lie? Well, wait a minute. Everyone's bloody lying. When you go and buy something with B&Q, or PC World, they know that people don't know what they're doing, and they will often sell them something that is way above what they would ever need. They will give them, the highest laptop with the fastest speed, with the most hard drive, for some old dear that all she wanted to do is type little emails to people. She probably could have got away with a phone to do that, but they will sell the most expensive thing, and they will justify themselves because they get commission. Same with B&Q when they design your kitchen, they will add slabs everywhere, even though you only need slabs at the end. They do all sorts of things, to try and trick you. And I've seen this personally. What they've done, they do these things, and the thing is, you're left to the vulnerability of they know best, and it's just, this is the world we live in, and this is just two examples. There's many examples. I'm sure you out there will know all lots of kind of examples through businesses, through individuals, through your own family members, through friends, where they've lied to you, where they've deceived you, where they've tried to do things because it's better for themselves than for you or for the general populace. So this notion of why wouldn't then governments lie? I mean, it is ludicrous. So why do we so naturally believe these things? Well, obviously because we've been schooled to believe them. That's the way we've been taught. The thing with cigarettes, for example, cigarettes. People smoke them, and they, when they were designed, and I'm pretty sure, pretty soon on, the tobacco industry knew that they could kill you and they had negative benefits. But of course, during the war, everyone got them free, and they thought it was wow, you've got this thing that for fighting. Well, really they're slowly killing you. And even there were lots of battles to try and get the tobacco industry to admit that they have a link to cancer and this kind of thing. And the fact that these industries, and not just them, like this Primodos thing as well recently, that's come out with caused deformities, and the government said no, it's fine, and now Oxford University scientists have found a link between it, and I'm sure the government's going to poo-poo that result or say it's null and void or this, that, and the other, coming up with some sophistry to try and get away from the truth. That you took this tablet and look at what you've got examples of something that happened, deformities, and you want to make out it's something else. And back to the tobacco thing, even these days, the tobacco, when you buy the cigarettes, they carry pictures usually of people's lungs or whatever cancers that it gives to them, and warning you. And but the thing is, millions and millions and millions of people around the world still buy them despite knowing that they're bad for them. I mean, so it's another thing that to do with the lying aspect is also that people don't care. They don't even care when truth is presented in front of them, when they're told that this could damage you. It's a bit like food, when people go through the carcinogenics, what causes a lot of this processed food, a lot of food that you're getting through factories, because of the way they do it, this is chemical that's inside it, it's carcinogenic, it's giving you cancer, it's making you ill, but people still eat it. People are eating, animals that are injected with things, flour, GMAs, all this kind of stuff that's going on. We all know that it's bad for us. People know that McDonald's is bad for you, or fast food is bad for you. That now they're saying that a bad diet is worse than smoking. Especially truthers know all this stuff, but yet we still carry on buying sayings from Tesco's and Sainsbury's or whichever store that you go to, or you carry on smoking despite, what was the intention of cigarettes? Maybe the intention of cigarettes was always as a euthygenic, to kill people, to reduce population, to create a need for cancer drugs from these big pharmaceutical companies, and you're participating in that by smoking them. Because you know that they kill you, you know that they have a link to cancer, if we believe those scientists to be true, because obviously, it depends which scientists you want to believe. But so why are you contributing to that aspect of it? But the thing is, because, what do you want the government to stop selling cigarettes? Because, if the government's supposed to care for the people, why doesn't it do that? But no, with prohibition, that kind of thing didn't work. When it comes to alcohol, another thing that, if you look at what causes a lot of people to go into hospitals and causes the NHS a lot of money, it is usually, poor diet, alcohol, or cigarettes, or just natural accidents and old age. But all these things, but it's just interesting to me that, I know even for myself, I'm not going to try and say I'm hypocritical. I'm hypocritical like everyone else, that I know that these things that we buy are bad for us, but I still buy them. What I suppose that I'm trying to get to is, why do our minds do this? What kind of sensibility do we have that we know something is bad, but we still carry on doing it? Is that the way we've been taught as a species through schooling and all that kind of stuff? That I don't care about that. I just want to have fun. I just want to do this. Is there not a sense of? I think the sense of truth is not so important to us. The way that we block it out, the way that when we go to those different stores and we know they're, the cost of buying some clothes from, say, Primark, for example, you may pay £10 for it, which is cheaper than, say, Debenhams, but that when they paid someone in India, they paid them like 50p or £1, and that, they'll make out, well, in the equivalence of where they live, that's more money. But still, the fact is that, they're making a huge markup, and you're participating in that, you're supporting that. We support, and this is part of the replicant idea of, we are replicants of the system, and to break away with that is so difficult because our minds are still attuned to that. That's why, sometimes I'll rail against things when it comes to medicine, because I'm worried about, or should I say that? I don't know, but it is my mind sort of going back to that system and saying, yes, that is correct. You must believe, you must follow what you've been taught. So that's the difficult thing, to unpack this system that you've spent your whole life being taught in, and to reevaluate it, and then to try and live outside that system, which is really impossible. And then recently, the other thing I was going to talk about is that, I had this idea of doing the 1 minute truth silence. And I thought, yeah, it's a brilliant idea. We could do that. And I'm still trying to find emails. If anyone knows emails of flat earthers, truthers, I've already got Sheeps and Neeps. I've already emailed him today. Because I didn't want to email him before because I knew he was going through a lot. But as he's saying he's going to do more streams now, I thought, well, let me just give him the idea. He's the one who supported me the most on these things. So let me just give him the information. If he thinks it's a good idea, he'll know because he knows. I'm just worried it may be too gimmicky. But if you know BTIC, whoever else, drop their emails in the comments or if there's any other way. I don't know if there's any other way because YouTube took away. I know there is a chat function, but I've never worked out how to use that, how you invite people to it. So if there's a way, just because I've tried to look on BTIC, but I haven't, because Dale's moved a lot of his videos. It's difficult to find his actual email now. But maybe I mentioned it. I haven't listened to the latest one, so maybe I'll find it then. I need to try and find Eric Debase as well. Just so that if it is a good idea, that someone can actually do something about it, because no one is going to do about it from me, because I don't get that many people listening to my waffling. So the thing is, also recently I didn't realise until I was emailing Sheeps and Neeps Des, was that my idea doesn't work anymore because, as Matthew C4 mentioned in his video, YouTube has stopped live streaming for people. I don't know if it is under 1,000 subs, because it didn't mention that to me. It just said I didn't meet the requirements, but I assume that is the requirements because Matthew C4 had that information. So now my idea that I posed, was it last week, of us all streaming with our phones live for 1 minute silence, now YouTube has made that impossible to work, because obviously I only have 300, so I wouldn't even be able to do it. So I suggested to Sheeps and Neeps that because of this problem, now what we're going to have to do is that people who have under 1,000 will have to record that minute silence and then put it as Premiere for that time. I suggest, because Premiere has a 2 minute delay because it starts, it's best if we are going to do, say, 12, then set the time that it's going to be. Can you set actual minutes? 11:58, so that it gives that 2 minutes when it does that stupid, annoying soundtrack with the clock. And then everyone will be at the same time. So the people who do have 1,000 can live stream if there is anyone, and then anyone under will have to have already recorded it. But as long as we all use the same tag, it'll fill up YouTube, Facebook, wherever else, and may make people aware. They may at least click on it, and then may click on your channel and then go to it, and then find out the rest of the information that we're trying to put across. Because the only way we're going to change this world, the only way we're going to get truth, whether you want truth of flat earth, chemtrails, medicines, cures, what we eat, how we live, government, all that kind of stuff, whatever it is that you're interested in, the only way we're going to change all these things is to enlighten people and wake people up, as it were. And the thing is, it probably wouldn't, would it? Because look at, say, Brexit, for example. You've got 17 million people that voted they want to be out, and the government have frustrated it many, many times. And all you've got is people outside waving flags and saying, down with it. It reminds me of Father Ted, isn't it? Down with this, down with this. That's a terrible Irish accent. That's the problem. It probably, because we are replicants of the system, and we believe in anarchy and fighting for cause and justice is on the same line as terrorism, because the freedom fighter and the terrorist, that it's an interchangeable thing. We're too scared to stand up. We're too scared to just burst inside the House of Commons and throw them all out and sit in their places and then make the decisions for them. It'd be great if someone did that, but it's strange, because when you think of it like that, you think, well, wait a minute, if they did do that and they got everyone out and the police didn't interfere and people all sat down, ordinary people sat in those same chairs to try and make that decision and have a vote, it wouldn't count. Even though they're human beings, just like the people they've chucked out, just because of the system that we work in, that we've elected those and given them that power and that responsibility. It's so stupid when you really think about it. We don't realise we're playing a game of life. We have all these rules and all these things, and we just believe in them, invest in them. I mean, it's crazy. Sometimes I don't know. I suppose that's why truthers tend to go mad, because it's just like headbutting a brick wall, to use the Pink Floyd analogy. It's just, you can see the lunacy and the stupidity. Even if you don't want to believe in things like flat earth, and people like to mock those types of things, even if you don't believe those things and you believe in just the fact that people being free, being able to do what they want, people being able to live in not having to live on the streets, not having to suffer, children not dying, and all these types of things that are happening every single day, every single country. That, since I don't know, how long have I been doing this podcast now? For a year? How many people have died unnecessarily? No one even knows that figure. No one knows that figure. No one's calculated that figure of how many people unnecessarily died of unnecessary wars, unnecessary medical conditions and diseases that could have been cured or have been cured. All these things that we're accepting through our day-to-day life, and no matter how much I moan about it, it's not going to change. And even if I change myself, which I am doing by the way that I see things differently and do things differently, unless everyone does it, is not going to change. Unless everyone wants to live in a better place, which actually, strangely enough, it's not such a magical thing. It's not kind of utopia. It actually is achievable, because how is it we live in the way that we live at the moment? Through us, through people. It's people that make decisions. It's people that create. Everything that we have here is created by us. I don't think I need to say any more, do I? Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.